for everyone.
In middle.
Okay.
What's good? I'm also going to just grab my laptop so you can see.
Hi, everyone. Would just be one moment while we're admitting everyone onto this. This is new for me. Many of you may be experts, but not me. So be patient. We're almost there. 797-529-277. How is everyone? Staying healthy? Oh, are you muted? So you can't even talk to me. Hold on.
I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Okay, thanks a lot, Joe. How are you?
If you go to the top, no, they can't hear us, can they? On the top of your screen, you can unmute yourself.
Oh.
Touch the screen. There, Yolanda.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, where'd you go?
Megan, touch the top of your screen and you can unmute. There you go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Melinda.
Hello. There's different backgrounds. We're all intrigued by this Zoom. Have all of you been using it for a while?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I want to be there.
Yeah.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Joe. I'm helping Melinda along with Vernon tonight. We're very excited for you guys to join us for our very first webinar. A few matters of housekeeping before we begin. This is being recorded. If you do not consent, please turn off your microphone and your camera right now. We will provide, if you would still like this information, but you don't want to be recorded at all, please, you can log off now and email us tax@Abbott&Company. It's where the invitation came from. And we will send you a copy of the recording for later. We will be muting everybody. We ask that you do not shout out during this time. If you have a question, please send it over to me through the chat or use the raise hand function in the participants tab. We will be sending out a survey tomorrow. We ask that you please share honest and constructive feedback. We promise our feelings will not be hurt. We will be wrapping up a discount voucher for your next invoice to include your emails. And we will be sharing these slides and some other helpful documents later. Everyone see everything okay?
Yep.
And Brendan, do you want to start?
Yep. So good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending this webinar. Most relevant help is on its way. A $2 trillion CARES Act in financial aid for businesses and people. The plan might not be 100% perfect, but we are sure that it's going to be of great support, and of course, is really needed. So go to your local trust advisors. Advisors want you to succeed, and of course, we're here for you to help.
Okay, so good evening once again. Thank you all for participating. We've been inundated, as I'm sure you all have, with lots of information and trying to figure out what is fact and what is helpful. And there's been several webinars that you all have probably been invited to or maybe have participated in. And as far as I'm concerned, they all sort of share the same information and they're not very action oriented. So we wanted ours to sort of be helpful in a way that will get you moving with practical advice to protect your business. So as you all know, there's several options out there. The first is this payroll protection program, which is being referred to as PPP. And that program was meant to provide businesses with assistance financially, and it's based on your payroll. And it looks like it's going to be 2.5 times your monthly payroll amount. One thing to understand there is that the annual payroll amount for employees and owners is $100,000.
Yeah, there.
The next one, we sort of discovered by accident. We heard a lot about this economic injury disaster loan advance / grant. And this afternoon, it's $10,000 and is easy. Apparently, you're going to be able to get your money in 3 days. We attached the link here. I went on earlier and applied, and it was very, very simple. A point of note here is that if you do in fact get this $10,000 and then you want to apply for the payroll protection program, they will reduce the payroll protection program by this amount. This is not administered by your bank, so you cannot go to your banker and ask for help with this. You just go to that link, and it was very, very streamlined and really easy to use. So I'll be curious to see if I receive $10,000 in 3 days.
Melinda, how do we get that? Do we click it now or?
We'll send the link. We're going to send these slides over to you at the end, Joe, and we will definitely make sure that you have the link. So the last one that we have here is it's been around a long time, right? The SBA loans have been around, for quite some time. And so if you do in fact have a current SBA loan, the point to mention here is that the SBA is giving 6 months of relief for principal and interest. And this isn't something that will get added on at the end of the loan. This will be forgiven. So that was a pretty good tip we found. And then if you do in fact feel that the small business loan is something that you're going to benefit from, and you want to apply, then we recommend you apply soon, because again, you'll have up to 6 months of principal and interest covered. So up to September 27th, right? So if you apply 3 months from now, well, then you're only going to get 3 months of interest and principal. So that is, if that's of interest to you, then we would encourage you to look into that sooner than later. Okay, so 3 things to do right now, right? Everybody breathe. It's an extremely stressful time. Most of us are stuck at home with kids and spouses and trying to work and trying to do everything that we can. And so I know this is easier said than done, but take time for yourself and make sure that you're remaining healthy so that you can make some good choices. We'd like everybody to sit back, in times like this where, it's unprecedented. None of us have any experience to draw from, right? So we say prioritize, what are the things that are most important to you? And I think for most of us, that's our family, right? So we want to be sure that we have, shelter, food, transportation, and the lights stay on. So if you're doing some cash flow planning and, cash is tight, then we really recommend, you focus on those 4 things and let other things, take the back seat for now, and you'll pick them back up when it's time. And the next thing is prepare, right? We definitely have to start preparing. This requires some patience because the information is so new and is being rapidly developed and things are changing. So we do have to have a bit amount of patience. We want you to focus now, though, once, the top 2 things are all set. Focus on your business to survive, but thrive. Joe, I took your quote. And, you know, we want you to sort of take a step back and think about how you can take advantage of the present situation. You know, many companies across the country are re-energizing themselves. You know, GM is making masks. Bauer is making protection gear, you know, so think about how you can structure your business. You know, I got an email from my hairdresser last night and said, we're doing deliveries of color for your hair. So how can we all take advantage of what's out there and try to bring in revenue as best as we can? And who knows, you know, you could be the inventor of something that we'll be using for now on. So step one, we're encouraging everyone, this is your opportunity to prepare for the CARES Act. There's a lot of information in that, and we will continue to provide information in a very proactive, action-oriented way. Of course, the first thing we'd like is, you know, step back, communicate often and openly with your stakeholders. That's your employees, your suppliers, and your bankers. You know, don't let them live in the dark. Let them know what your plans are and what you're thinking, and that you're all in this together. The next thing is check your status with the Secretary of State. Again, we've included a link here, but one of the first things bankers are going to be doing is making sure your business is in good standing, and that means you filed your annual reports with the Secretary of State. And we all can do that, you know, right off of our laptops or computers or phones for that matter. So be sure that is taken care of. Make sure you filed and paid your payroll taxes for Q1 at least. The government wants to be sure that, you know, you take your business serious and that you are up to date as best as you can be with some of these taxes. The next thing we want to do is get busy, right? There's a sample application out there that the SBA has put together. Now, we're receiving messages from lots of different banks that we're not using that one, we're using another one. Well, you know, what I've said to my clients that we've helped thus far, and myself, is I filled out the application in its entirety. It took me about 10 minutes. I signed it, and it's ready to go. This will help you determine, you know, the types of questions and things that they're going to be asking. And again, it's a very streamlined form. The next thing would be gather all your documents, your payroll tax returns. We've heard some of the major payroll companies now that they're preparing packages for their clients that are going to be, you know, readily available for you to deliver to the bank. Get lease documents, pull out your utility bills. If you have a mortgage, you know, get your mortgage statements together. And then the third thing is an estimator tool that we're going to provide to you that has been used by some of the banks thus far. And it's a pretty helpful tool for you to sort of determine how much money you could expect under the payment protection program. The next step, this is a bit of, can be troubling since a lot of our clients have told us that they're reaching out to their bank and nobody's answering their calls and nobody's returning their calls, and they're very, very frustrated. At this juncture, though, for this payroll protection program, it is all about your bank. The bank is going to be administering these loans. So I would continue to call the bank, get names of people at the bank so that you have a name of someone you can speak to. Going to your bank is, you know, even the SBA folks are recommending, you know, seek advice and assistance from your bank first. Find out, what do they need? When do they need it? And the biggest question of all is, when will I receive my money, right? Because a lot of us have been spending this money all along, and we really need to know when we can expect some relief. Many of the banks, what I've done for some of my clients thus far who really have been paralyzed with fear is I've, you know, helped them fill out the application. I've prepared all the documents, and we've sent it, in some cases, certified mail, return receipt requested, to our local bank that we have a banking relationship with, and it will be delivered tomorrow morning. So at that point, the bank has a duty and an obligation to respond to your mail. That could be as simple as got your package, we'll be in touch. But let's hope that they're a bit more helpful than that. Step 4, you're in charge. It's a time where we're all hurting and we can't be afraid to ask for help. So some of the steps that you can take is call your landlords, call your banks, and ask if they are offering any assistance whatsoever. Again, some of our clients have received free rent periods. Some of our clients have received, a delay in rent. We'll give you 3 months. You don't have to pay us for 3 months, but we're going to tack on 3 months at the end of your lease. A lot of people are trying to help in any way they can. So reach out to them. Call the credit card companies. They could be waiving fees. They could be waiving interest. American Express has reached out and said that, they're giving 3 months, delay in payments. Reach out to your insurance companies. These are pretty big expenses that we're all worried about, and we don't want to let our insurance lapse. So we want to communicate with them and see if there's any help that they can give us whatsoever. Reduce and eliminate your non-essential spending. I know sometimes this sounds pretty obvious, but it really is important for us to look over our expenses and see if there's any that we can cut out at the moment. All these tips go for your personal finances as well. I called my bank and I got a reduction in my mortgage rate by 1/4 point just from a phone call. So interest rates are nearly non-existent at the moment. So take advantage of that and see if they can help you in any way. Okay, so now we've come up with 3 things to know. The expenses that are going to be forgiven under this payroll protection program have been your payroll costs, your interest on your mortgages, rent, utility, and wages paid to tipped employees. Again, what I've done in this area is prepared sort of a rolling 4-quarter profit and loss for my clients. And I've started on April 1st of 2019, and I ran it through March 31st of 2020. And then I've highlighted all of the items on the income statement that fall into these categories. And then I've made the calculation in the next column of what I believe will be the applicable loan amount. The tools, the workbook tool that we have will also help you get there, but just another way of sort of looking at things. And then you have your financial information in front of you, in front of the bank, and depending on what's happening, they may be able to assist and it may potentially increase the loan. Banks are really not being clear right now, and I know it's frustrating, but I really believe it's because they just don't have the information they need. So, be careful too about what you're signing. We've had some situations where our clients are calling banks looking for the payroll protection loan, and they're being sold, equity loans or express loans, and these loans have, high interest rates. So be sure that you're clear with your banker that, we're interested in applying for the payroll protection loan at the moment and nothing else. And if indeed you feel as though the payroll protection loan isn't going to be enough, then be sure the loan that you're going after is backed by the SBA. Any of this loan forgiveness under these programs will be non-taxable. It's not like credit debt relief, which is taxable. This will not be taxable. So the resources we can share, and we will share, is a list of the local banks that are offering SBA loans, the estimated tool to help you calculate what your loan amount might be, the sample application, and guidance. We're here to help and answer any of your questions. We want to be sure that our clients and their businesses again are successful and can get through this. So with that said, we're going to open it up to questions, and Joe is going to help me with this part of the webinar.
If I can ask two things, don't log off just yet. I want to make sure I get a list of your names so that we can share all this information with you. There are some chats that have already come through. You want to take it over?
Sure. Okay. So, am I starting right here? Okay. So Maria, you have a question. If you want to know if part of this loan can be used to fund the 401k of the employees. So if you have historically given a match to your employees and you want to continue to do that, it could potentially be included as part of the loan. Although I think a banker would advise you that until cash flow improves, to maybe reduce or eliminate the 401k match at this point. But employees should still be able to contribute to the 401k. Well, some people are having trouble hearing this. Was this loan 100K max? No, the loan is
$10 million max.
Right, it's a $10 million max. So the loan amount is pretty high. You know, it's based on your needs, and every business has different needs. So the loan amount is, what we're seeing now is 2.5 times your average monthly payroll. And we're being told rent, utilities, and some of your other operating costs. Again, check with your banker, because this information is coming out, you know, every single minute we're hearing something different. But it's important that you have the information you need so that you can question the lender, right? You want to be sure your banker is giving exactly what you're able to get. Do you have to keep all staff on? No. So the main thing I tell my clients is please run your business as you see fit. You're very successful business owners, and only you know how to do that. And if you feel that it's best for your business to cut down your staff and limit them, that is entirely acceptable. And as long as 75% of the loan is used for payroll, then the loan will be forgiven. And an important note to mention here is everybody is focusing on the fact that the loan will be forgiven. But what's important to understand is that the loan has a 0.5% interest rate. So if for your business that, you know, you've decided that to stay afloat and do what you need to do, then you need to buy supplies now, then you use that loan to do that. And think about it, it's a pretty small price to pay to keep your business up and running. The loan will cover health insurance and employee benefits. Again, each bank is going to have the opportunity to determine the need of each business. And so if you have an employee benefit, for example, that provides a gym membership, well, gyms are closed at the moment. So, you know, that might not be deemed a necessary employee benefit. But to maintain your employees' health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, all those things are covered. Okay. So it is being recommended that you use a bank that you have a relationship with. We are being told from banks that they are only allowed to help their banking customers. So now I've heard from others that, you know, they're trying to reach out to their bank and their bank has not been very responsive. In that case, you know, feel free to reach out to us. We can sort of help and guide you and check in with the SBA to see if there are, you know, better avenues to go. And what we're being told is you can log on to the SBA's website and apply for the loan. But they're saying that the most expeditious way is to deal with your current banker. You can apply for the loan if you're a sole proprietor with no employees. They're asking that those applications are going to be started a week from tomorrow, so on April 10th. You're not clear what the CARES Act provides. Jessica, is it a loan? Yes, there is a loan, and it is backed by the SBA. But what is different from a typical SBA loan is this loan has a very low interest rate, and it is forgivable. So if you get $75,000 for this loan, just as an example, and you use that money for payroll, rent, and operating costs, the loan will be forgiven. The other suggestion I'm going to make is once you've spent the money for the loan, prepare the paperwork to get the loan forgiven right away. Don't wait to the end of the year, right? You know, paper will get missed. You'll be busy trying to, you know, survive and thrive. As soon as you've spent that payroll or whatever it is, the loan amount that you were given, be sure to start to help get the paperwork together for the loan to be forgiven. And again, you can give us a call. We can help. For most of you, we have your financial information, and we can ensure that we're putting together a package that will help this get done. The lender must be currently, the SBA is requiring that your lender be an SA lender, which is an SBA approved bank. The expenses are only for the period, this one's saying January 20th to June 20th. I want to say that this is going retroactive, I thought, for February 15th. I can take that question down and be sure to update you appropriately. So it's going to go retroactive to February 15th, and it's going to go forward. And it's meant to cover 8 weeks. All right, so Katie, oh, there's some background noise.
Sorry about that.
Brian, yes, we are being told that independent contractors can apply for unemployment. What we read was that it's going to be the minimum Massachusetts benefit, which whatever that is, we haven't been able to find a definition, plus the federal benefit of $600 a week. On the unemployment's website, they say that if you're an independent contractor, you can't apply for unemployment here. So I believe you're going to have to call them in order to do that. As a sole proprietor, I'm not on the payroll. Yes, as long as you are an official business, there are ways for your banker to ensure that you receive the compensation that you need to keep your business going. Seasonal businesses do qualify. And that, you know, in respect of everybody's time here, if you are a seasonal business and you have some specific questions and need additional assistance, just please give us a call. But seasonal businesses are able to receive aid. So there are a bunch of tax credits, Rebecca is asking, when it comes to payroll taxes and things like that. We're going to be doing another webinar with some of the relief from the IRS and things like that to help you in the future. We wanted to focus this webinar on getting you steps to take action come tomorrow morning. So the loan we are most referring to is under the CARES Act. It is called the Payroll Protection Program, PPP, and it is administered by the SBA, and the SBA has asked banks to help process the application. So for a self-employed person, what you could say is your income would be your net income on your Schedule C, and use that as a method for them to understand your salary. Can you clarify on page 2 of the sample where you have to initial 0.5? Let me find my application and I had it earlier. Hold on 1 second, sorry. Oh. Okay, I don't know what I did with my application. So 0.5, hold on a minute, let me see if I can find that. But we'll go on to another question in the meantime. No, well, you know, Stephen is asking, is this PPP loan for funds on a first come, first served basis until the money runs out? Well, to some extent that's true, but the government has provided a lot of money to assist businesses. So I would hope that banks have received some parameters to ensure that people are getting what they need. And that may mean the bank is going to squeeze you a little bit and make sure that your costs are costs that truly keep you operational. Okay, so question 5. Oh, initialing 0.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So during the period beginning on February 15th and ending on December 31st, the applicant has not and will not receive another loan under this program. So again, what the SBA wants you to know is that if you already have help and assistance, leave some room for others, right? So if you've already applied for the disaster loan recovery that was out there last week and the week before, if you decide that you got that loan, which had a pretty high interest rate from what I'm understanding, you can still apply for the PPP loan, but you may have to use the PPP to pay back the disaster loan that you previously applied and received funds for. All right, if anybody has any further questions, could you raise your hand now? If not, we'll assume that all your questions have been answered and you know where to find us if we can provide any further assistance. And I'll let Joe close with some of our housekeeping tips.
Hi everyone, so if you don't mind, I'm going to be sending out that survey like I mentioned in the morning. It'll be brief. Please don't feel bad about hurting our feelings. Let us know what we can do better, what we can improve upon. I do apologize. I believe that there's been some issue with background noise and with the inability to hear at this time. We will have that fixed by the next meeting. Rest assured.
Yeah, you know, Maria has one question here that I think might be helpful. She said, what if I applied but I didn't receive it yet? Don't let that stop you from applying for the PPP loan, okay? The banks understand that you were doing what you thought was necessary and that was the only relief available to you. So you did what you needed to do. And that doesn't preclude you from doing the PPP loan or the grant. I'm going to encourage everyone to get onto that link and get the $10,000, because if that comes to you in 3 days, then that will provide some necessary funding for you to get by upon waiting for the approval of the PPP. Also, reach out to your payroll companies. They have a tremendous amount of information and they have been very helpful with us trying to get the information we need to assist our clients. So use the resources and advisors that you have connections with. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Melinda.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. If you have not received an email that would like one, please do not hesitate to reach out. I will. I do apologize in advance if I missed anyone. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.